We are born into this world with no memory of what has come before. In order to rise above the superstition of matter, we must first descend within the crude confines of its shadowy influence. We are imperfect beings in search of a better way. There have always been those who cry out for a savior, for someone to lead them. The time for cowering in corners, shirking responsibility of our lives upon others, and waiting for change to drop from the sky is long since past. It is our duty as human beings to create our own pathways into the future. In this, our current age, carrying on like spoiled children when life doesn't go as expected is infantilism to the very core. Descent into materialism gives us a fresh start in life by delivering us with no memory onto our chosen paths. The concept of each individual life being created by their own will should be easy to integrate for those who do claim responsibility for their existence. For those who find these truths difficult to grasp, keep developing your abilities of taking action and choosing decisively at the nascent point of situations. Then gradually you will begin to comprehend the myriad depths of free will along with the existential implications contained therein. Reflecting deeper as we traverse this map of words, we naturally think to ourselves, truly we are born into this world. However, from whence do we come? If we search our oldest memories, it would seem we come from darkness. Yet we don't have to dig deep to recall. We are born with fresh eyes because knowing our life purpose out of the gate would soil our intended task, our very reason for being here. If we knew how a movie was going to end, would we still go through all the trouble to see it? Some might say yes, but in the end we'll only hear them complain for the duration because their experience has been wrecked. If this kind of individual is familiar to you, it is because they lead a humdrum, predictable existence. A clockwork soul following the same routine day after day, living in an eternal recurrence hell and bound to negativity. Observing a person in such a way is not a judgment, but more of a gauge, in the realm of which we should be remiss to operate. If an impoverished way of life is their choosing, so be it, as long as they don't hold back anyone else in the process. For those of us who want a life of freedom, the ability to make competent decisions, and a purposeful journey, it need be realized there remain many more options than we have been made aware. A purpose of intuitive rationalism is to bring awareness to the fact we don't have to live in a polarizing society. Living a biased, one-sided, my way or the highway existence is undesirable. As with anything, there are always more than one, or in this case, two solutions to any problem. In the name of forward momentum, we summon into this dialogue the Phoenix Principle. We can safely assume most, if not all, at least those listening to this video, are familiar with the imagery of this illuminated being. Also, there is no coincidence in the timing of this article's release with the new year. Same as with the Phoenix, we are all familiar with those living the clockwork life, who await the literal time of commencement to make changes they can adhere with. Our understanding of the constellations, the calendar, the Earth's rotation around the sun, takes us a bit further than the mainstream way of dealing with year's end. But that's a whole other video altogether. Since we don't wish to exclude anyone due lack of development, what follows applies to everyone. So the concept can be worked through up to the varying degrees of personal attainments. The first thing to take into consideration, why wait? Why would we wait to change instead of taking action now? Surely the answer is different for most, but generally speaking, and most won't own up to the fact, when we take action, we become responsible for the very same. Traversing onward, how do we integrate the Phoenix Principle in a productive manner? Feasibly, we could start with desire. When we desire to become something more, we summon the forces of destruction. A truth of existence being, we can't just have whatever we wish to attain all at once. In most instances, the new must completely replace the old. At very least, even a well-developed thought simulation won't be perfect, but will have concepts that can be carried forward fruitfully while the useless bits are burned away. Yet oblivion need not be the fate of all our achievements, which is why testing concepts such as these remain so effective. Because anything without purpose will inevitably fall away. Moving through desire to the necessary destruction of unworkable ways, we rise to the inner consuming fire. Stirring within the flames is every word unsaid, every action not taken, that which is left undone, wasted moments, all being melted down to their original essence, that they may be reforged into that which has purpose. Once the dark matter has been returned to its source, the inner fire bursts outward, reconnecting with the outer world. Now synthesized, these burn everything that was before to ashes. As these ashes settle into the smoldering remains, they carry with them the seeds of new life. For a time, there is only silence. While this time passes on, something slumbers beneath the surface, until the moment comes that desire is reincarnated in a new form, a new attainment. This breathes new life into the swirling ashes. When enough purpose has been injected into the heart of the din, the new phoenix arises, ready for perfection. As stated before, we can acquire knowledge of the Phoenix Principle by starting with day-to-day training. When our day begins, we rise up, set to daily tasks, reflect on what we've done, then wind back down to the next sleep. This is a cycle we are familiar with, because at one time or another we all live it. The same can be said of the Phoenix Principle. The difference being most haven't familiarized themselves with its deep tenets. They want to see and speak about such things, not become them. What about you? Do you wish to rise with the fire, or remain dormant in the ashes of the past? So it is, we have risen into the year, travailed the pitfalls, gained new experience. On this, the descending eve of commencement, I wish everyone the best moving forward. Thanks for a great year. So much more to come.